and keep it up. Appreciate it. Joining me now is Democratic Congresswoman Madeleine Dean of Pennsylvania. She's a member of the House Judiciary and Financial Services Committees. And last year, she served as a House manager during the second impeachment, not the first, the second impeachment trial of Donald Trump. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being here. We played a clip earlier of Donald Trump suggesting that if he gets elected again, he would consider pardoning those convicted of taking part in the January 6th insurrection. So he's not unapologetic. He's defiant over what transpired as a result of his lies about election fraud. What's your reaction to him just openly discussing the idea of pardoning these people?
Well, he's unchanged. He is openly corrupt. He is openly cynical and bankrupt of any moral character. Never, ever understood his oath. I bet he never even read the Constitution, let alone believed in abiding by it. So it's just more of his bankruptcy as a human being. And I hope fellow Republicans are taking notice of all that is transpiring, of all that is being revealed by the January 6th committee. And I think it's interesting, the framing that you have put together up against Watergate and what happened then. The difference, of course, some differences between Watergate, and I was a young girl at the time of Watergate, followed it very closely. In some ways, Richard Nixon's resignation, pushed by Republican leaders, led to an accountability, not a full accountability, but an accountability, a severing of some of the cancer of that presidency simply through resignation. You see here that Republicans stayed around Mr. Trump, resigned themselves, but did not come out publicly with information about his big lies, about his raising money for himself, basically around these big lies, and about his coordination around January 6th. They only came forward by way of deposition, but the truth is coming out. The other difference, very importantly, is what is happening in the present and in the future. Many elected officials, including Doug Mastriano of my state, who is running for governor, will continue to push the big lie, would have the chance to seat the state officials around the election, and could actually go forward and try to do it again in 2024. It's a very dangerous time.
I mean, you say you hope Republicans are watching and taking note of the evidence that's been presented. But is there any evidence that you've seen that they are listening or changing their opinions? I mean, you obviously talk to them on a daily basis. What do they say to you when you press them on what's being revealed by the January 6th hearings?
Strangely, privately, some are saying, oh, my goodness, I didn't know that. But there was a very revealing moment when I was impeachment manager. In part, I presented the testimony of the phone call with Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger of Georgia, and that call of the president to him, threatening him with legal liability, legal exposure, and then saying, all I need is for you to find 11,780 votes, saying it over and over again. When I presented that in the Senate, there was actually a couple of members who gasped as though they had not heard that before, even though many of us had followed the information of the call 4 days before January 6th. It was an audible gasp, and one senator even said, oh my God, he's going to be indicted for that. So I believe that at that time, some senators were not aware of that level of corruption. And I believe that the January 6th hearings are revealing it to many more Republicans.
One of the things that they did reveal, the committee revealed, was video of one of your colleagues, Congressman Barry Loudermilk of Georgia. He was caught giving a tour of the Capitol on January 5th, the day before the riots. The tour was with a man who ended up attending the January 6th rally the following day. What's the reaction been among members to those revelations and other revelations that your colleagues may have had close ties to the people who stormed the Capitol?
It's shocking, but we did know some of this before. And what I want to remind viewers of, this was COVID. We were not having any tours of the Capitol. There just wasn't such a thing. You couldn't do it. I wouldn't have even considered it. So the day before certification of the presidential election, for Mr. Loudermilk to be wandering people around, they're taking pictures of exits and hallways. It's extraordinarily puzzling. But I do remember a couple of colleagues of mine saying, you know what? There was this strange tour going on yesterday. I ran into them in one of the corridors in one of the underground tunnels. I think it's very damning. I don't know why anybody would have been offering a tour on January the 5th.
So you saw that, you heard of this in real time, is what you're saying?
I heard of it the day after. I think the first I heard of it was in the safe room when I was among hundreds of us who were put into a safe room, taken out with our gas masks on. And I remember a colleague saying, I saw something yesterday that I think was really strange. Somebody was offering a tour, and they didn't even know who the member was, but noticed a tour. As I say, it was extraordinarily unusual. We had no one in our offices. I remember for January 6th, my chief of staff was available to come in. I said, stay back. This is so precarious. Stay back. There could be some problems in the streets. That's what I was thinking. I purposely used only the tunnels because I didn't want to be on the ground. And so for a tour to have taken place the day before, and obviously some of those people participating in the following day's events, it is extremely suspect.
Yeah. All right, Democratic Congresswoman Madeleine Dean of Pennsylvania, thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday morning. Really, really appreciate it.